at the desk with reporter Lauren Tier. Lauren, you have been in court for quite a while now.
Yep.
Feels like months at this point. Tell me what you've been working on.
Well, this morning I was in Smith County Court at 9 a.m. for a pretrial hearing for 36-year-old Alan Lamont Sutton, and he is charged with capital murder. There he is, right there in the courthouse today. This is in Judge Gunter's court, the 241st District. So just to give a little background on this case, he is charged with the capital murder of Shariah Grant. Did I get that right? There's an interesting and confusing complex triangle involved in this case. So let's start at the beginning. Shariah Grant of Kilgore. This was an 8-month pregnant woman who went missing in 2016. Sutton and another woman by the name of Lanisha Young were identified as suspects and charged with capital murder.
Okay.
So, I mean, they've been in and out of the courtroom with trials for years and years and years now. So to kind of give a rundown of how these three are interconnected, you have the gentleman, Alan Sutton.
Do you want me to hold that up?
Yeah, you can.
With
I mean,
pictures?
it's not
It's
that
not the best
great.
photo, but
Okay, so this is Mr. Sutton right here. And then this is Grant, the other suspect. No, wait, did I get that right? Or Young? Young. My apologies. This is Lanisha Young. And then the cutoff face right here, I apologize. I should have had a better picture. I'll have a better picture in the full story. Is the victim in the case. Her body has not yet been found.
Okay.
And it has been 8 years. So do with that what you will.
And I mean, that's something that we don't see a whole lot of.
No.
Normally, a grand jury won't indict someone without a body.
Yeah.
Especially for a capital murder trial, but this one seems to be completely different than quite a bit of what we've seen.
So in my opinion, the biggest piece of evidence that they had to go off of for that indictment was finding Mr. Sutton's car that had a trunk liner removed and blood that was identified as Shariah's.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that that's kind of where they...
Very strong evidence.
Exactly. So, essentially, Sutton impregnated Miss Grant while Miss Young was incarcerated.
Okay.
So, Grant and Sutton lived together. She got pregnant. This is while Young is in prison.
Yes.
Young gets out of prison, comes back with Sutton, and I can't remember the timeline, but it's within a short amount of time that when Young is released, that Grant goes missing. Okay?
Okay.
So and Grant and Sutton had a previous relationship, and so I believe they got back together. Let me just verify that real quick. Okay.
So he and his previous girlfriend, Miss Young, had broken up. She went into prison.
Yes.
He then met a new woman, Miss Grant.
Jail, sorry, not prison,
Jail.
Okay, so here's
There we go.
Grant and Young are cousins. So the two women are cousins.
Okay. So he started dating her cousin.
Essentially. I don't know if they were
got
ever in like
pregnant while they were
necessarily an
living
official
together.
relationship. She got pregnant while they were living together.
Okay.
Young was then released from jail, got back together with Sutton.
Okay.
And then within a short period of time,
Miss Grant.
she went missing. Let's
reported
see. It was
missing.
just after her release from jail, her relationship with Sutton resumed, and then Grant went missing. And this is all in 2016.
Okay. So I'm assuming what the prosecution is alleging is that Sutton and Young conspired together
Correct.
to kill Miss Grant.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So, again, this has been going on for years and years and years, and part of that means that there are years and years and years of evidence and things to go through, different files, phone calls, letters, social media posts, I mean, you name it. And so that was a big topic of discussion in today's pretrial hearing. So it was all pretty much just motions filed by the defense that Judge Gunter allowed them to argue and then gave her ruling of either granting or denying the motion.
Okay.
And pretty much all of them had to do with the admissibility of evidence.
Got it.
One of the motions that was discussed was a request from the defense asking the state to narrow down some of the calls and letters and social media posts that they might be presenting as evidence in the trial, which isn't until March.
Okay.
But just to give y'all some ballpark numbers here, there are over 30,000 jail calls to go through.
Wow. Okay.
That's
and each one of those has to be
30,000.
gone through
Exactly.
and cataloged, and then you have to make a transcript of them to present them to the court.
Of course. And
Wow.
so the state's, kind of rebuttal to that is, well, the defense has access to all of those things. And they also can go through the thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Of course, we know the burden of proof is on the state.
Yes.
So I think kind of the compromise that they reached was just the state said that as soon as they know that they're going to be using this file
Okay.
or this letter or whatever as evidence, or they're planning to use it, they will notify
The defense.
the defense.
Okay. And that was agreed to on both sides?
Yes. The only
Okay.
thing they did not agree to was with regards to social media.
Okay.
So there will be no compromise there as of today.
Okay.
And again, that could be discussed. There's another pretrial hearing
Got it.
in January. So again, that could be brought up. But defense, I spoke with the defense attorney, Gary Smart, after the pretrial hearing. And here's just kind of his overview of what happened today with regards to some of those motions.
They were mostly just procedural motions for the state or for the judge to rule on admissibility of evidence before it was offered, as opposed to waiting until and trying to file an objection or make an objection in front of the jury to try to get the judge to make a predetermination as to its admissibility. We also had a couple of issues with regard to the material or the discovery that the state, we believe, should be providing to us or should have provided to us already and hasn't been provided. And so we're working through those issues, and that's basically what everything was about.
All right, so you obviously just heard the defense attorney, Gary Smart. Again, he is Mr. Sutton's defense attorney. I've actually spoken with him in the past at a different pretrial hearing, and he is always willing to talk to the media, which I personally greatly appreciate because there's a lot of jargon going on in pretrial hearings. If anybody has never been, there's no jury or anything, so basically the discussion is just between the two counsels and the judge.
Exactly.
So they use lawyer terminology and jargon
Legalese,
and
as we like to call it,
legalese.
yeah.
Exactly, because they're not having to talk to everyday people. So it was very helpful to talk to him after the case, and at the very end of our interview, he did confirm that they believe this is going to be a death penalty case all the way through. They don't think that the state is going to take that off the table.
Okay.
So their main goal is just to keep Mr. Sutton off death row at this point. And he said, until the trial, they're just going to be going through more witnesses, more evidence, and that next pretrial hearing is January 17th. So some more motions will be discussed, and then, like I said, trial is expected to start sometime in March.
All right, sounds good. Once again, our very own Lauren Tier. Lauren, thank you so much. We look forward to hear more of your
You're
reporting.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's